presentation on this. Just real quick, Ms. Lopez and Gutierrez are going to go over the results. I think the school district did well. The district is acceptable. Here we'll go. We're going to show you how we compare to the other, I think it's 40 other school districts in the comparison group. You will also see that our junior high received a distinction in the area of science, which is something to be proud of, and we want to recognize and commend Mr. Westman and his staff for getting that accomplished. So with that being said, go ahead and start with the presentation.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank the principals because without their support and help, we wouldn't have this. And I apologize for it not being in your packet, but we just got this on Thursday, so to put the PowerPoint together was not possible. So that's why the PowerPoint itself is not in there. We just gave you the accountability summaries for each of the campuses. And basically, the accountability system is based on 4 indexes. The Student Achievement Index 1, Student Progress Index 2, Closing Performance Gap Index 3, and Post-Secondary Index 4. And readiness, okay? And so now Ms. Gutierrez.
I have a question before we move. I know that schools can be rated up to 4 indexes, up to 5 to 6, the max is 7 indexes that you could be rated on. How are we selected to only be rated on those 4 indexes?
Sorry.
Because that's the
Um,
in the state rating.
We have, I'm sorry. We have 4 indices that we are rated on, which are those. And then when it comes to the distinctions, we have 7 distinctions. Because now they have added the science, the social studies, and then the student progress, that those were not there before, but now you're correct in saying that now to earn distinctions, there's 7 categories per se to be able to earn those distinctions. So you might see a school that has earned all the indices because for each index is a target. For each index we have a target, and then after those targets are gathered, then you are eligible for those distinctions. And then those distinctions each have a criteria of 4, and of those 4 you need to get 2, 50% of that criteria. So then you have 7 possible distinctions.
Thank you, Ms. Basically, the Commissioner of Education's final decisions on accountability rating criteria and targets for 2014 is Met standard. On the Met alternative standard, those are for the alternative campuses. And the other one that we're rating on is improvement required, and that is if we did not meet 1 or more of the performance index targets. On the index targets, index 1 for the district, it's 55%. Index 2, student progress is 16%. Index 3, closing the performance gap for the district is 28%. Index 4, post-secondary readiness and all the components is 57%, and just using the STAR component is 13%. For the elementary and middle school and high school, index 1 again is 55%, and then it varies on the other index 2. Elementary is 33%, middle school is 28%, and this year the high school was NA, not applicable. And then index 3 for elementary 28, middle 27, high school 31. Index 4, the post-secondary, if you look, it's on all components. It's NA for the elementary, and elementary is intermediate campus, okay? That's the way they put it down, so that's the way we left it. Middle school, again, is NA, and high school is 57%. When you're using just the STAR component, it's 12% for the intermediate campus and 13% for the middle school, and high school is 21%. The Index 1, which is the student achievement, provides an overview of student performance based on satisfactory student achievement across all subjects for all students. The subjects being reading, mathematics, writing, science, and social studies, and it's all the groups. Everyone is included in this. And the performance standards is the phase-in. Index 2, student progress, focuses on actual student growth independent of overall achievement levels for each race, ethnicity, student group, students with disabilities, and English language learners. Again, for this, it's just the reading, the math, and writing when it's applicable, because not all the grade levels test writing. And on this one, says, well, this, we had a great number of students that met the standard. Well, it's only if they show growth. If you could meet the standard with the same percentage and you didn't really show growth, you just kept meeting the standard. You're not growing like from, to the advanced level, like level 2. You're staying at the phase 2. Index 3, closing the performance gaps, emphasizes advanced academic achievement of economically disadvantaged students and the 2 lowest performing race, ethnicity, student groups. By subject areas, again, it's all the areas. By student groups, the socio-economically disadvantaged students, that's always one of the indicators. The other is the lowest performing. Some of the other districts have a lot more of the different ethnicities or the different races. We pretty much don't, but they look at the 2 lowest performing areas. On the post-secondary, readiness emphasizes the importance for students to receive a high school diploma that provides them with the foundation necessary for success in college, the workforce, job training programs, or the military, and the role of the elementary and middle schools in preparing these students for high school. The 4 components in this area are post-secondary readiness standard 25%, graduation rate, and these are the ones that you can see at the elementary level and the junior high. They're not included in that. And then the graduation plan and the post-secondary components. The district high schools and the K-12 campuses are evaluated in all 4 components. When any of the 3 non-STAR components are not available, then only the STAR component is evaluated, and that's in our case. On here, we went ahead and put down, if you will notice, that the intermediate campus met the standards of 4 standards, Index 1, Index 2, Index 3, and Index 4. And comparing ourselves to the 40 school districts that Mr. Garcia was talking about, you can barely see it's like in the dark area, right up there, you'll see that it was a 34%. And you'll notice, make note that in some instances, we were having like the same as 3 other campuses, but because we're an R and the other campuses in the alphabetically came before us, that's why they're before us. Okay, but basically, we're not at the very bottom, we're not where we want to be, and that's why, as Ms. Lipa mentioned, they're going to really work hard with the rigor and the 4 R's that she talked about. The junior high also met all the 4 indexes, and if you'll note, over there comparing it to the 40, we're kind of like in the middle, and again, you have 2 campuses that are the same, but again, because of the alphabetic situation there, we fall a little bit under. At the high school, we met the 3 indexes, because if you'll notice, we did not have the Index 2 right there, and again, we're on the 40th, and in some of those, you can't really see the campuses, but you'll see La Feria was one of the campuses that we were compared to, and they're at the 41. Of course, they're above us, again, because they fall alphabetically before us, but in reality, we were at 41, and I believe Point Isabel High School is up there, and they were at 42, so we will have that 1% difference. So we are not where we want to be, but we're certainly, working hard. Our campuses are really working, our teachers, and I feel that this coming year will be a better year for us.
Why were we not rated in index number 2 for the high schools?
Okay, let me go in here. Because of the changes of the end of courses, to comparing the student progress from one year to the next, there wasn't enough information. On our distinctions, these are the areas that we can have distinctions on. And again, as Mr. Garcia mentioned, the junior high did earn a distinction in science. So again, we celebrate their accomplishments. And these are the 7 that we were talking about. And to assist parents and the general public, the Texas Education Agency has produced a video that offers a quick overview of the state accountability system and what goes into the annual ratings of the school districts and charters. The video can be viewed, and it has the address, and we're gonna put it on the web.
How are we gonna educate parents and like, so that they can get the buy-in too, so that it's not just in our classroom, but it goes beyond our classrooms? Like, what are we gonna do, what, measures are we gonna take to ensure that it's not just curriculum taught from, 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock, that it's a teamwork and it starts, we're gonna help them and we're gonna create the foundation, but we also need the support of the parents. Like, what are we gonna do as a district to get that buy-in from our parents?
And those are some of the conversations that we have been having, Mrs. Villalobos, and with Ms. Gutierrez, and we're gonna bring in a parental involvement director as well, so that we can start having more parent trainings and using our web to include a lot of, where people can go and receive training, because sometimes they can't come to the meetings, so that we can post most information. And that's why I'm gonna be posting that on the web, so that we can start educating our parents and, having meetings, Sometimes we've had meetings, we have like 3 parents show up, so we're trying to find ways, okay, what can we do to bring them in? And we've been brainstorming, because there's gotta be a way.
And I thank you all for taking the effort of uniting our school district. It used to be by campus, and every campus was an entity of its own. And we're trying to unite it as one, but what are we really doing different to ensure that curriculum is being structured correctly, and that we are horizontally aligned and vertically aligned? Because I think that's where the biggest achievement gaps come from, that we're not aligned. So what are we gonna do different this year to ensure that we do close the achievement gap and that we are implementing a stronger curriculum? Because that is something that I strive for and I push for.
Okay, for example, and this is just an example, and then I'll let Ms. Gutierrez take over, but we have, the TA had a grant or something that included several districts to be a part of, right, for Texas. And it was only for the high school and the junior high. But we went above and beyond. We asked permission and said, can the intermediate and the elementaries be included? Can we sneak some of the teachers in? And of course, they said yes. And our campuses are overachievers. They sent, almost anyone that could go, and they went. We had 20 participants, and it was just intended for the junior high and the high school, but we had elementary and intermediate there. Why? Because we're trying to do that, and there will be other ways, and she has a lot of ideas that we're working on.
And I like to applaud y'all, because I'm a realist. When we first got on the board, when we first started our meetings last year, we saw how low our scores were. And we have shown growth, and you can't go from rock bottom to sky high in 1 year. That's unrealistic. And anybody who says you can, you can't. It takes steps and procedures and growth. So I applaud y'all for taking the time and doing this. But that's something that I'm gonna hold y'all high, and y'all know this because since last year I've been doing this. That's something I take to heart, and I think that our kids in our community deserve nothing but the best.
Amen.
And I think that our kids have already taken the back seat in the educational role for a long time, and we have to put them first and foremost, because they are our future, and we hold our future in our hands. They are the ones that are going to give back to our community. They're the ones that are going to come back, and if we don't produce abiding citizens that can go out and contribute to society, then we're not doing our job. So I thank y'all for taking strides. I'm a realist. I don't expect us to go from rock bottom to high. So I thank y'all for y'all's hard work and y'all's continued effort. And I thank the teachers that are here, yes, and the staff and the principals for working as one, because we are one and we need to unite to make sure that our future gets all that is needed to ensure that they are successful.
And they want to thank the board for their support. And
I would also like to say something about what I'm seeing here. Rojando, the high school, just their scores went up really nice. Port Isabel is one of the richest schools in the state, and we're right there with them. So, that is a big plus, with the financial issues that we had. So, that's to be, the students, the teachers, everybody, and I thank you. So I appreciate that.
And I know our resources aren't as greatest, and sometimes we like to compare ourselves to our neighboring schools, that we can't compare ourselves to Harlingen, which has 1,000 businesses that contribute to taxes, which contributes to, more resources for their kids. And I want to throw Mr. Garcia here, we can't compare our school district to Brownsville because it's a big city. So we can't compare, I know we like to compare ourselves to neighboring schools, but I know that we have great intentions to taking our resources and I'd like to thank Mr. Garcia for putting our budget as a priority on our list to do things. Miss, I cannot say this enough, running a testing school 325 with 18,500, when cheerleaders are getting $22,000 and expecting to get high marks, our priorities weren't right. So I'd like to thank Mr. Garcia for setting our priorities, because without budget, we can't have curriculum. But now there's no excuses of why our curriculum cannot prosper. And that's a true statement. We have a little bit of resource, we have wonderful teachers that we can use because they showed everything that they can and give to our district. And that's something that we need to work on. I think that we're fixing our budget so that this year there's no excuses. I know it's gonna be a little bit harder, but I'm gonna be honest with you. That's something that I am gonna hold true and through, that our curriculum goes stronger and we show better results and we show growth and we show that we're closing our achievement gap. I can't say that enough. And I want you to know that my fellow board members and myself, we're here to support y'all in any way we can. We don't want y'all to say everything's nice and peachy because we know it's not nice and peachy. We're here to give to our kids everything that they deserve because they rightfully deserve it. So thank you, a million thank yous for all y'all do.
And if I may, I would like to applaud the teachers and that they can pass it on to the other teachers that are not here and to the principals.